Hello again. I'm back. Hello. First things first. The disclaimers. Yes, once again, I am reading this off a script, because I have important things that I want to talk about, and I'd rather not miss anything, and I'm probably still going to miss something, but I'm doing my best to miss as little as possible by writing things down. Secondly, said script was at least partially written during the big heat dome thing that covered Europe for over a week, and temperatures where I live got up to just shy of 40 degrees Celsius. That wasn't fun. I have absolutely terrible temperature tolerance. My temperature tolerance maxes out around about 20 Celsius, so it being damn near double that wasn't fun in the slightest. So things may be a little bit scrambled around the middle. I did go back in after the fact to read through it. It reads okay. But, I changed a few things, added a few things, including this intro. So, hello, past me. Congratulations. You survived the heat wave. Don't ask me how, I've got no idea. I thought it would be a puddle by now. So yeah, it is still warm. It's just not massive heat wave levels of warm. Though saying that, there is a heat wave coming later this week where it's going to get back up to 30 to mid-30s again. So not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to that in the slightest. So, oh well, what can you do? Anyway, today I want to talk about more things. We're going to start with more Furality, obviously. I'm not done talking about Furality. I don't think I will be done talking about Furality for a while. Sorry, not sorry. Specifically, I want to talk about, at least to start with, the last video, what Furality means to me, because when I made it, I had no idea how it was going to go, no idea how it was going to be received, and I had no idea how it was going to affect things going forward, because, oh boy, I think it's one of the best things I have made, period. And what made that better was the fact that a few days after it got posted, I was told that it had been posted into the Furality staff Discord, which is wild. Absolutely wild. I thought that if I was lucky, and I mean really, 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 really lucky, maybe one member of staff would see it. As of recording this right now, there are 5 comments from Furality staff on that video, and who knows how many people from staff have seen the video. That blows me away. It really does. This has all happened during a time where I have not made YouTube videos for literal years. For context, with the exception of the Furality videos for Somna last year, which were the Dealer's Den intro in desktop and VR mode, the attempted recording of the fireworks show. I say it was attempted. I recorded the fireworks show. It may not be the best video recording of the fireworks show, but it was a recording of the fireworks show. And then Awakening when the convention had finished. I hadn't done any YouTube videos, or any videos specifically for YouTube, I should say, since 2020, which was a little Sonic Robot Blast 2 card video that I threw up after not having made videos for a while. If I was to go back to the last video that I'd say was actually made for YouTube, that's the end of 2017, which was the last episode of my Let's Play of Sonic Mania, because at the start of 2018, I made the switch to live streaming only, because I found it easier to get into and drop out of, and I had, and still do have, fun streaming. I don't get to do it as often as I would like at the moment. I don't get to do it anywhere near as often as I would like to do at the moment. But life and stuff and family things are all getting in the way, and they all have to come first. So maybe one day we'll get back to doing more than one a week, but at the moment I am on one a week. when I made What Furality Means to Me, I enjoyed the process again. It was a process that I haven't had to do, like I say, since 2020 when I did the Rubber Blast 2 kart video, and even then that was just record gameplay clip, throw gameplay clip into timeline, repeat until out of gameplay clips, render, upload, done. Doing videos like this where I sit and I talk were kind of rare, not unheard of. But I mean, for the most part, they were mostly, I'm not having a good time right now. Here's why. They were the majority of the videos that were like this. So they weren't fun, but they were necessary. Making What Furality Means to Me, despite the fact that it was done at a time of extreme emotions, I had fun. And that was the big thing. I had fun with the process again. Now, I thought it was a very good way of dealing with the emotions that I was feeling, because I don't normally deal with them. Normally, if I start feeling something that I don't want to be feeling, I tend to just not deal with it in the slightest. I push it down and I try and hide it away, you know. And if I'm lucky, that's the end of it. But 8 or 9 times out of 10, it's just like it waits for a while and then it explodes out of me. The feelings and emotions that I was feeling after Ultra finished were too big. I couldn't do that. If I tried, I would probably just have combusted on the spot or something like that. So I am very glad that I dealt with them productively. Very productively, in fact. I have found that I enjoy this kind of thing again. That was one of the main reasons that I stopped, because I wasn't having fun with the process, and streaming was there, and I could just go, I feel like playing such and such a thing. Boop, I'm streaming such and such a thing. Okay, now I have to stop. Okay, bye. That's the end of it, you know? I can upload the VOD to YouTube, which I have been doing. I have an archive channel with, at this point, 3+ years of VODs. So that's where that kind of thing ends. You know, a video for video's sake like this was something that I hadn't done for a while. And doing it in VR as well was new because, like I said, I stopped doing YouTube content at the end of 2018. I didn't get VR until late 2020, early 2021, I think. Yeah, it must have been. So doing this was fun, and now I kind of want to do more, which is why we're back here again. Hello. I'm going to be honest, after the video today, I don't really have a whole lot of ideas. One of the ideas I have had is to just show you around places I like hanging out here, you know. But that's for another time. That's not the point of the video. Today I want to talk about things that have happened in the aftermath of Furality Ultra and uploading the video, making the video, all that kind of stuff. And there was also something of a surprising realization that came from Furality this year, and I barely mentioned it at all during the last video because that wasn't the point of the last video, but I did slightly touch on it. So we're gonna explain that a little bit more today. So let's get started. I mentioned during the recording of What Furality Means to Me that I had written, edited, and recorded it across the course of about 12 hours on, to paraphrase my own video, my first day back in reality after Ultra. And that's only technically correct. It was the first day after Ultra had finished. I was very much feeling a lot of feelings and missing the fact that I could just hop on VR and find a group of my friends and just go hang out for a bit. It was a very big kind of now what kind of feeling, you know? I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do because now all of these wonderful things that I'd done at Furality Ultra were now just gone, or they felt lesser in some way, you know? Sure, VR chat's still here, still could hop on and wander around the place, But a lot of my friends were fatigued from the amount of VR they'd been doing over the last week. And they were spending some much needed time away from their headsets, I could have gone into a public instance, but like I said before, that's not really my thing. I like being with people I know. So that wasn't really an option. So that's how we ended up with the last video. I was dealing with the feelings, and that was how I chose to deal with them, rather than the usual of just hoping they all go away and I don't have to deal with them. So, while it was the first day back in reality after Ultra, it wasn't really the crash back into reality that I was expecting. That came a couple of days later. I was sitting on train, fighting with the onboard Wi-Fi, trying to write down some thoughts that had been turning around in the brain meat a little bit, trying to put those into a thread in Discord, while being back outside and touching, okay, metal and concrete, not grass, but close enough. It's fine. I hadn't been handling the return to reality very well by this point already. The emotions were still very much running high. I'd spent the Wednesday working on what Furality means to me, and then Thursday was the first big emotional recovery day I'd been able to have. And it wasn't really much of a recovery day. Every little thing was threatening to make me cry. Not helped by the fact that a whole bunch of people were posting photos and videos and, goodbye things for and from Ultra, and that was difficult. So I'm, on a train, heading across 2 counties to get to where I need to be, and I'm feeling a lot of things, and I'm trying my best to feel as much of them as possible without making a scene in the carriage, hence trying to collect my thoughts into Discord, because, I could have just written them on a note on my phone, but I was also, talking to friends about the thoughts and the feelings, and the thoughts, it turned out, were twofold. The first being that I really wasn't handling the return to reality very well. And I get it, things have to end. There's a nice Doctor Who quote along that line. Everything's got to end sometime, otherwise nothing would ever get started. And I apologize, there will probably be a few more Doctor Who quotes in here, or references somewhere. I have been watching Doctor Who for the better part of about 10 days while the heat wave was going on, because I couldn't really do much else. So, Furality has to end so everything else can get going. Like with Somna, I'd had some personal revelations at Ultra that I wanted to get started on, unknowingly having already done one of them with the video, because that led me to here. I wasn't expecting to get to here doing another one. If Furality was still happening, then yes, I would still be doing Furality things. I would be running around the world. I would be dancing about in Club Fin. I would be hanging out with friends in the meetup. But that would also mean that I wouldn't be getting started on the revelations and trying my damnedest to make those happen. And, would be best to try and make those happen, because I am currently in the middle of a period. I am in a period of time that has seen me stagnate and fester because of this bad brain bullshit that has been going on, and a combination of a whole lot of things happening that has kept me in that low state, I had gotten used to looking down and, seeing these, the big, chunky, four-finger hands of my floofy dingus here, my fancy outfits, and, not my real hands and my real clothes that don't look anywhere near as good as this. And I don't look anywhere near as good in them. I'd gotten used to being able to run around places and jumping and having fun, running around and exploring things and dancing and, motion, And even though, I'm physically, right now, still sat in my armchair, because that's where I do my VR stuff, it felt like it was me doing them. I'd gotten used to that. Not sitting, as I was at the moment, in an uncomfortable train chair, waiting to grab my walking stick, hold myself up when I got to the next station, and, go where I needed to be. I mentioned towards the end of the last video that my body doesn't really work very well. My lower body, especially, does not like me. No, does not like me at all. Standing and walking put a lot of strain and pressure on me. That causes pain. And in the last year, I've had to start walking with a stick to give me a little bit more support, and I'm still getting used to that because, like I said, I've only had it recently. The amount of times that I have kicked the stick by accident and almost set myself flying is, we'll say it's more than one. It's a lot more than one. We'll leave it at that. So, you know, this was back to reality, back to my broken body that I can't stand the sight of because it reminds me of the old man. This broken body that requires more than a little bit of pain medication to keep it going when it gets real bad. Thankfully, it doesn't get real bad very often, but more often than I would like, you know. The disconnect between what is out there and what I can be in here it's immense. It's something that I have to be okay with. Because without some radical changes in my physical condition and in some cases the technology to make it better, it's all I've got. I have to be okay with it. I'm grateful that I have a place like specifically Furality, but also in a more general sense VR. I'm grateful to have a place where I can be what I can't out there. You know, running around as this big floofy dingus that I love very much. But it was times like this, times where I've had a ton of fun at something like Furality, running around and playing games and generally being active, and then you just get slammed in the face with reality, just going, oh, well, now I can't really do those things without being in a ton of pain, or I can't do these things at all. And it sucks. And that kind of thing also doesn't help with the mental health side of things either, because that just it drags me down. But, you know, again, it's something that I have to be okay with, because it's not changing anytime soon. I mentioned that these thoughts were twofold. The first being the disconnect, but the second one is more personal and a little more strange to think about. This is the thing that I mentioned at the start about the revelation that I'd had that I just glossed over a little bit. Well, more than a little bit. I barely spoke about it in the last video. Anybody who watches my streams or sees me post the occasional commission I get will recognize this guy. It's me. Adorable little unicorn, just sitting here, playing games, having a good time. This is what I've been for about 3 years at this point. Or at least that was when I changed all my publicly facing avatars and profiles and whatnot to be, you know, this. I look at this guy and go, yeah, that's me. Little guy in the corner of the screen chatting away while I play Minecraft or something. That's who I recognize as me. This is me. Last year, during Furality Somnum, my partner Starshine gifted me a new avatar that she'd put together specifically for me for the convention. Something more in theme for the World of Dreams. Again, you have to remember, attending Somna last year was a very last-minute decision. I think from the time of deciding to attend the convention and the convention actually starting was about 2 weeks. Thereabouts. Didn't really have a whole lot of time to get something more thematic together for this guy, outside of using an old Princess Luna-themed hoodie design that I'd made before I got this outfit on him. There was also the fact that there weren't any clothing options for this avatar base at that point either. The other outfits that I now have on here are relatively recent and was way after Somna was over. So, Star made me this. Now, I already said in the last video that I fell in love with this outfit. This is the Moonlight Reverie outfit by Polygon, and I love it. I love it so much. Look at me. I look incredible. This isn't the kind of thing that I normally wear, though. The hoodie on the pony avatar that you've just seen is more my style, or lack of, I guess. You know, comfy hoodie, comfy joggy bottoms, all comfy, all the time. Something formal like this would normally just remind me of things like school uniform, work uniform, formal events where you absolutely have to be on your best behavior. stiff, stuffy, horrible. No, thank you. But this, I don't know what it is. The theming, the fact that I'm not physically wearing it so it doesn't feel uncomfortable, I don't know what it is about it, but I adore it. I practically lived in this avatar and this outfit in the time between Somna and Ultra. I still did the odd VR chat stream, and that was with the pony avatar, and times where I wasn't showing this guy off. And I still streamed with my PNG tuber or VTuber model, which was the pony. But this was a reminder of a special time with special people, and this was made specially for me. So, of course, I spent a lot of time in it, and it felt like a way of keeping that magic alive a little bit. Especially since, well, life at that point, for many years before, and even in the time since, had gotten very, very good at draining the love and life and magic out of a lot of things. But especially from me, myself. But that brings us neatly to the lead up to Furality Ultra. Since I knew I was attending Ultra basically from the end of Somna last year, I'd gotten from the time of the announcement of the convention theme right up to the convention itself to find myself an outfit for Furality Ultra. In the end, I found two because I couldn't decide between either of them. This one, which is the Fruitig Astro outfit by Kufi, and the Ultra Fit outfit by Wooddrone. Both of which, for the Nova Beast, both easy to drop into my Unity project and use and just go. For the pony, I'd planned to get the Aero outfit by Mythic Speed that had been recently released, and I was going to customize it a bit. It was going to be a nice little spring project for me to poke around in Photoshop or something else and just retexture it, make it look all nice, make it look a little thematic, and, make it look good. It was going to be something that I was going to do for me. Unfortunately, life found a way to make things extremely busy and difficult for me, to the point where pretty much immediately after I bought the Aero outfit, I was suddenly given a ridiculous amount of stuff to do for other people elsewhere, and things that shouldn't have ever been placed solely on me in the first place. But that's another story, and whether I tell that story is going to be another thing entirely. But I ended up not even installing the base Aero outfit suit onto the pony. I was just going to go with the outfit pack that had been released previously. I'd commissioned retextures to match my streaming outfit, and I was just going to deal with it. There wasn't much choice, because I didn't have the time anymore to do what I wanted to do. And, I still had these outfits on the Nova, so it wasn't like I was going to be, missing out on the theme. So as a result, I only really ended up using the pony for the Hooves and Antlers meetup. The meetup specifically for, well, hooved and antlered creatures, ponies and goats and deer and horses, and it was a fun time. I got to meet a couple of people that I'd only really interacted with on Blue Sky, and we get on well, but for the rest of the convention, it was all Nova Beast all the time, baby. And I think that is what led me to the second branch of thoughts. So, back we go again. We're on the train, and I'm racing across two counties, having a very heated argument with the LNR Wi-Fi to please let me send these messages in Discord, because I'm having these thoughts. These thoughts are happening right now, and if I don't write them down, they'll go away before I can write them down, and then they'll be gone. I know how my brain works. If I don't write them down, they didn't happen. So, this form, this Nova Beast, has started to feel more and more like me. During Ultra, that got stronger and stronger, and it's like things shifted a little. The unicorn slid out of focus slightly, and the Nova Beast got sharper and sharper, at least in the focus of my identity. Now, this isn't the first time this has happened. Before I had the unicorn, I had a cat. I was a cat. It's a form I've not really used much since the unicorn happened, but it's still something that I can look at and say, yeah, that is me. He just looks really blurry. It's recognizable as me. It's just like I'm looking at it with my glasses off. So he's really blurry because I don't do well without my glasses. So this time was admittedly a little bit different. Going from the cat to the unicorn, I hadn't moved anything major between them, like body markings or identifying features, except for the glasses. I had to move the glasses, like I just said. I don't have great eyesight. I have to wear glasses. So all of my personas have glasses when they represent me, because then they can see as well. I had the outfit that the cat was on translated kind of into, MLP style, just so that he had an outfit to begin with. That was about it. Going from the unicorn to the Nova Beast, though, I still wanted to be something magical. I liked the fact that the unicorn had magic. I liked being able to do magic, So I still wanted to do that. So I did this. A golden unicorn-styled horn for me to be able to work magic through. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't have like a magical aura like the one on the pony does. It is a reason for me to say, yes, I can still do magic. I have this. Now, the reasons why it is gold are lengthy and way beyond the scope of this video. But there is a rather large amount of, if you know, going on with it. Same with, the little gold undersuit that I have going on under this and the Moonlight Reverie. If you know, If you don't worry about it. It's fine. It's not important. I wanted to be able to do magic, and now we've got this, and I can do magic. I was vibing so hard with the Nova Beast that while I was writing these down on the train, these thoughts down on the train, my mind was rushing around going, okay, so what would I need to change? Well, I'd need to change icons and profiles, my VTubing, PNG tubing, 3D model setups for streaming. Might need to change some things on my overlay. Can I still stream for that MLP themed stream team that I'm a part of if I wasn't going to be a pony anymore? Yeah, I could. I checked beforehand, but they didn't have a problem with it. All these thoughts were rushing around because this is me. This is what I think of when I think of myself now. It's not a little white unicorn. It's this big, fluffy dragon thing with, gold horn and these outfits, this one and the Moonlight Reverie ones are the ones that I have on this avatar. They are the ones that I vibe with the most. They are the ones that I see when I think of me. Since these thoughts started and I realized that it wasn't something temporary, because that was kind of a worry. I was worried, well, not really worried, but I was worried that this was going to be something temporary in the wake of Ultra, something, that I'd had a really fun time with, and it was going to be just a temporary thing, and then a couple of days later it was just like, oh yeah, no, I'm unicorn still. These thoughts were not temporary. We're now, like I said, about 3 weeks after the convention, and every time I think of me, it is now this guy. The big floofy dingus. I keep calling him the big floofy dingus, but that is the big floofy dingus. I am the big floofy dingus. And I'm going to be entirely honest. It took me until the end of that day when I was on the train, and I came home, and I was just like, yeah, that's me. It's not a temporary thing. It's not something that's going to change anytime soon. This is me. This is me now. So, hello. This is me. If you've seen my profiles or caught any of the streams that I've done since Ultra Widget, like I said, there haven't been many, you'll have seen that I've at least started to make changes to move away from the unicorn and to the Nova Beast. Now, the unicorn is still me. It is difficult to not think of the unicorn as me because I have been him for so long. But the Nova is more me. The Nova feels comfortable, familiar. I look at him and I just see me. Big, again, big floofy dingus. Wants to just, play games, run around, hang with friends, go sitting on his butt and dance around with glow sticks, This, this is me. And I love it. And I'm just glad that this has happened because, I don't know. It feels right. This just feels so right. I'm big flippy dingus, baby. So, that brings us to the end. Unlike the last video, this one took a lot longer to write, in part due to the heat dome heatwave thing that I mentioned at the start, because I started writing the script before it hit, and here I am about a week or so after it's gone, about to start another heatwave, and I'm finally getting around to finishing up and recording and everything. I've still got to edit it, and I'm also working on changing more things over to big floofy dingus, But I wanted to take this time to talk about it and get it out there because I usually don't talk about these things. They usually just kind of happen and then they just get waved away, Oh yeah, this has changed now because I don't know, reasons or something. It's fine, don't worry about it. Then I don't really ever take the time to explain or explore those reasons. And most of the time, I don't take the time to explain or explore those reasons to myself either. So I did this time. I wanted to, take a little bit, think about it, talk about it, and then share that with all of you. So that's it then. Don't really have probably as impactful an outro as I did last time. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you for whatever video I end up doing next. Whatever and whenever that may be. Bye, everybody. Bye. How the fuck do I get down from here?